YouTube, what it do? It's your boy TWV checking in for episode 20 of 40 years of WrestleMania with TWV, which means we are on WrestleMania 20. WrestleMania 20 was called back where it all started, or back where it started all, one or the other. But this was in Madison Square Garden on March 14, 2004, marking the third WrestleMania at Madison Square Garden after WrestleMania I in 1985 and WrestleMania X in 1994. And the fourth of six WrestleManias that take place in the New York metropolitan area. That is WrestleMania 1, 2, 10, 29, and 35. 29 and 35 we have not gotten to. It featured professional wrestlers from both promotions, two brand divisions, Raw and SmackDown. To this date is the last WrestleMania to have been held at Madison Square Garden. Its calendar date of March 14th also stands as the earliest that WrestleMania has ever been held in any year. So WrestleMania 20 had a 12-match card. I like 6 of the matches. So 50%, but we put an asterisk next to that because 2 of the matches are like honorable mentions. And I mean an honorable mention like I liked it, but it really wasn't worth reviewing. Like I'll bring the match up and I'm kind of going to keep it pushing from there. But with that being said, let's get into the review. So the first match that I thoroughly enjoyed, it was John Cena versus Big Show for the WWE United States Championship. This was John Cena's WrestleMania debut. So of course, he was the Dr. Thugonomics personality back then, so he came out the basic Thugonomics. He came out, cut a promo on the Big Show and all that. It was pretty cool to see. And then, you know, the match only went, I want to say, 7 to 8 minutes. It was really good, though. Cena fought from under basically the entire match until it got to a point in the match where he was going to hit Big Show with his chain, the chain that he used to wear with the big padlock on it. And the ref was telling him, no, if you hit him with it, you'll get disqualified. So Cena threw it across the ring. The ref went to go grab it. Cena picked up one of his Word Life rings and punched Big Show in the face. Hit him with an AA. 1, 2, 3. John Cena is your new United States champion. So John Cena is my favorite wrestler, so you already know I definitely enjoyed this. Of course, him winning his first championship at WrestleMania just adds so much more to it. With John Cena in real life now, chasing title 17 at his final WrestleMania. So, you know, check this right off the box. I liked it. So, with that being said, let's get to the next one. The next match that I thoroughly enjoyed, which is a very underrated match in my opinion on this card as a whole, was Christian versus Chris Jericho in a singles match. They were best friends in storyline, and they were beefing over Trish Stratus. So that was kind of the storyline that I seen the pre-match. Like every match had like a pre-match video package, so that was the storyline. Didn't care for that part of it. I was here for the graps. And like I said, this is like when Chris Jericho was on his best run from like this 2004, so like 2002 all the way to like 2010. This is when he was like at his best. This is Christian pre-TNA. Christian TNA was probably his best run ever, but this was fairly decent too outside of the tag run that him and Edge had a couple WrestleManias before. So the match was some real graps. Like it was a great match, great wrestling. It was a masterclass of 2 wrestling savants. So I definitely thoroughly enjoyed it. The ending was fairly flat in my opinion because Trish Stratus came in. Christian acted like he was going to attack her. That caused him to get the win over Jericho. And then Trish Stratus basically turned on Jericho, kicked him in the balls. Christian hit the kill switch, and that was like the post-match angle. So that was pretty decent. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Wasn't nothing that is like, hey, you need to go watch this. It was decent, though. I give it a 3.5. I enjoyed the match as a whole. But with that being said, let's get to the next one. The first honorable mention of the night was a 3-on-2 handicap match with Evolution, which consisted of Randy Orton, Batista, and Ric Flair versus the Rock and Sock Connection, which is The Rock and Mick Foley. This was a decent match. I'm not a fan of multi-man tag matches and things of that per se because you don't really get the best graps. But I definitely did enjoy this match as a whole. Like, it was fun. It went about 17 minutes. That's about it. So, with that being said, let's get to the next one. The second honorable mention of the night is Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar with Stone Cold Steve Austin as a special guest referee. This match had a lot of buzz about it in a negative way because both of these superstars, Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, this was their last matches in WWE. At the time, up until I want to say Extreme Rules in 2012. I don't know. I think it was contract disputes with the company and things like that. I think Brock Lesnar wanted to take time off or do something else. I think Brock Lesnar wanted to go do UFC or something like that. He ended up going to do UFC, but he wanted to still be in the WWE and go do UFC, and Vince wasn't going for that, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But this is when, like, blogs and stuff kind of caught wind, and so going into the match, like, they both knew they weren't returning after this match. So this match got a lot of shit with it. Like, they booed damn near the entire match. The match, I ain't gonna say it stinks, but it didn't live up to the hype of Goldberg and Brock Lesnar. Like, when you think of Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, especially Brock Lesnar at this time, this is like super prime Brock Lesnar, not like come back after UFC super prime Brock Lesnar where he's like an animal. This is like right out of college Brock Lesnar where he's just a physical genetic freak. And so it definitely didn't live up to the hype. I think Goldberg won with the spear and then a jackhammer. I'm trying to circle back to remembering the match. But it was lackluster. It was lackluster as fuck. It was extremely lackluster. The best part of it was Stone Cold at the end, giving Brock Lesnar a stunner. Like, but with that being said, this was the second not recommended. This is the second honorable mention. So with that being said, let's get to the next one. The next match, which is I'm gonna get out the gate right now, a TWV 5-star match, is Eddie Guerrero versus Kurt Angle singles match for the WWE Championship. And oh my, Kurt Angle's a machine. Eddie Guerrero was a wrestling savant as well. And the way this match ended was so funny in such an Eddie Guerrero fashion. We're going to skip basically to the end. Eddie Guerrero won the match he kept knowing Kurt Angle was going to go for an ankle lock. So at some point in the match, he loosened his one boot. And when Angle went for the ankle lock again, he kicked him with his opposite foot. And, Angle snatched the boot off. And with that, Angle had the boot in his hand. And then, he went to go attack Eddie Guerrero again, and Eddie Guerrero caught him with a roll-up pin, and with his opposite foot, he kind of held the rope with his opposite foot. So this is the one time I did enjoy a roll-up pin because it was such an Eddie Guerrero thing, so it made sense. But man, oh man, this was a masterclass in professional wrestling. This was 21 minutes and 34 seconds of the purest graps in sports entertainment. This is a definite recommend watch. I honestly, before I go back and analyze all the matches I've watched, I know this match is easily in the top 10 of the TWV rankings of my favorite 40 matches of the 40 years of WrestleMania series. So this one, you got to go watch it. If you got 22 minutes tomorrow, before WrestleMania, go watch this match. So with that being said, let's get to the next one. The main event of WrestleMania 20 was a triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship with Chris Benoit versus Triple H versus Shawn Michaels. And oh my, to double down again, this was 3 wrestling savants going in there and giving it their all. Triple H was bleeding. Shawn Michaels was bleeding. It was cinema. And we're going to jump to the end again. Chris Benoit became the new World Heavyweight Champion by defeating Triple H by submission with the crippler crossface. But in the midst of the match, it was so much chaos and carnage. Like, at first, Benoit moved Shawn Michaels out the way, like, nah, I want him first. And then, they got into it. And Shawn Michaels was like, nah, I want a piece of him. Then at one point in the match, Shawn Michaels and Triple H teamed up to throw Benoit from one announce table through another announce table. And Benoit had blood all over his chest and his face from fighting Shawn Michaels while he was bleeding and fighting Triple H while he was bleeding. This also was a TWV 5-star, and I'm going to double down again. This may make the top 10 already. Like, this was some great professional wrestling. So realistically, if you got about an hour, watch Eddie Guerrero versus Kurt Angle for the WWE Championship and watch Chris Benoit versus Triple H versus Shawn Michaels in a triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship. And to top it all off, at the end of the night when Chris Benoit won, Eddie Guerrero came out to celebrate with his best friend, and the confetti came down, and both of them were holding up the championships, and it was a sight to see. Like I said, Chris Benoit's legacy is definitely staying. Eddie Guerrero was a legend gone too soon as well. But this was just a special moment for these two wrestlers. If you just keep it in the scope of professional wrestling, these two guys definitely deserved it. And WrestleMania 20 so far may be the best one I've seen. This is definitely getting the TWV stamp of approval. I definitely recommend watching it. It's a lot of shenanigan matches in between, but if you want to get to like the real graps, jump around to these 6 matches, and I know you won't be disappointed. So with that being said, it's your boy TWV checking in and checking out. I'll catch you tomorrow for the next one. Peace.